Okay, so what do you guys know about this Players Association stuff?
As far as I know, this new association was created by Tina Pisnick, Colin Johns, and some other players. And then Elise Jones was in it, and they just voted Zane president. And they're representing the players to improve safety standards and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Okay. And can you elaborate, Graham, on like the shift or something? Because I don't understand that.
Let's just say we're not, as always, 100. We're bad calls, right? We're not 100% sure how this works, but this is what I believe is there was a group of players that were created a union, the one you're talking about, right? With those names.
Yep.
And Zane's the president or the head of it. And UPA to, I don't know the right word, but to have representation for the players that also represent them, created like a player commission. And they asked Zane, because he's currently the head of the player union, to kind of head that commission, right? Or that board to, I don't know, like protect the rights of players. And
Advocate on the player's behalf.
Advocate on the player's behalf. And I think Zane's in a difficult position because he's like, well, do I stay with this player union that we don't seem to be getting a whole lot accomplished? Or do I work from the inside, right, of UPA and try to get as much benefit as I can for the players and actually have some action and get things done for players while it's around.
Okay, so that's why he said he was having like a moral dilemma.
A moral dilemma. Now, I don't know if that's exactly right. It's just a quick conversation I heard from somebody, but I think that's the issue. And I think all the people involved have the right intentions, including Zane, and he'll make the right decision. But basically, it's like, how do we better what the players have right now on the tour? But our opinion's a little different, right?
I mean, yeah, and just I've been told of another association that is similar to what happened in tennis. Pospisil and Djokovic kind of spearheaded this players association in tennis, and it was funded by a sports agency and a hedge fund manager, and they started advocating for players. And I think that's what's happening in this. I don't have a lot of details about it, but I know that there's some prominent players behind it, and it doesn't sound like it has any association to what you're talking about. I don't think they've ever even spoken to the UPA at this point. So that'll be interesting how that unfolds. But yeah, we have a different take because we're looking at it from a purely monetary perspective. It's like, my point's always been, yes, I want to advocate for the players too, but the most important thing is the sustainability of the game. Players are drastically overpaid. Drastically. The tour doesn't make a fortune at the moment. In fact, the amateurs are their driving force and sponsors. And so you want the best facilities. You want to be paid a shit ton. And the tour goes bankrupt. So that doesn't make any sense. I guess that's where I have a tough time. Like, you got to kind of wait until there's money coming in to ask for these things. Tennis was different. They had 11% revenue share, and they got up to 17 or something like that. They were asking for more money. We don't have the ability to ask for that yet. We're already drastically overpaid.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying as far as your different take?
Yeah, well, you are actually a pretty neutral party. It's interesting. You're such a strange person in all of this because you get your money that you pay your bills with come from being a player.
Yeah.
Right? But you're also invested in UPA, which is maybe more of a long-term investment. And so you're kind of looking out for both and you're trying to find that middle ground, which is where this should land. So when I hear you say like we're drastically overpaid, then that means right now to try to squeeze more out of the UPA stone and get more benefits and more money isn't probably the right path at the moment, because then you're just going to basically kill the product, which kills what anything you have.
Right.
I think the bigger problem is it's very top heavy.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there's a solution for this at the moment, but it's like, I think the players that are up and coming and maybe in the middle of the pack need to figure out how the people that are at the top making the majority of the money for players, that trickles down and becomes more balanced further down. But I don't know if that's the case.
Well, in tennis, for instance, they did put in like a bare minimum salary. So if you were top 250 in singles and I believe top 100 in doubles, then you got a living wage guaranteed. And then there was on top of, which wasn't like that when I was playing. You just were fucked if you weren't winning. And maybe that's the solution, that you ensure people can pursue this professionally if they are top 32 or whatever in a division, cumulative. And then that at least gives them the chance to train, practice, not have a second job. So that might be it.
We kind of did. We kind of are there.
I'll never forget this. Is kind of a funny story. When the tour wars were happening, I was getting wind of some of the contracts, and I was like, not irritated just because they were much more than mine, but more irritated because like, that's insane. What the fuck are we doing? That doesn't make any sense. And I was on the phone with another player and one of the people that was directly associated with the tour wars, a higher up, let's just say. And I was like, look, you can't pay this guy that. That makes no sense. I was like, I'd happily redo this and take a pay cut to ensure that this is sustainable. And the other player on the phone was like, they asked, would you be willing to take a pay cut? Absolutely not. Really quickly. It was like, but then we're in trouble. Like then it goes to dark. We're in the fucking red constantly. They didn't care. And so that's, I think, where the difference comes. I'm more interested in the sustainability of the league as a product over the long term. And a lot of the players want to get their money and get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, just as maybe a selfish take, which is normal. I mean, human nature
normal.
is selfish. Yeah,
of course.
I would say I think that like the safety standard stuff is probably a hot topic for now. Like, if a player collective could like influence the like not using rollout courts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those are no brainer. I don't think anyone's arguing that fix. I hope.
Yeah.
I don't think one side's like, no, we want to keep having rollout courts and break your ankles.
Well, I mean, if it's like a sponsorship with like a pickle roll or something, I don't know how that deal is.
We've got that already.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. They have to put it out to honor the sponsorship.
Oh, they're saying they have to.
And so I'm saying like they could say, hey, don't take contracts from rollout court companies as the court because it's damaging us. But that UPA is like, well, that's money for us income. That could be a contentious issue.
It's our only money.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's how we pay you.
Right.
Well, yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
But there's other sponsorships that maybe don't.
Maybe, but we haven't landed enough to make it. We haven't landed enough at the moment to make this product viable.
Right.
We've got to keep every big sponsor we have.
For sure.
We can't
it's a difficult challenge.
That's tough
because you want to respect the player safety, but at the same time, you're a business on the come up. You got to make sure you get.
I think the short-term solution to that is, which is what Anna Lee does, is choose not to play those events
in singles,
right?
In singles or in however you feel, whatever the safety issue is at the moment. Okay, you have to fulfill 18 tournaments or 20 tournaments. Those 10 that are on pickle rolls or cushion X don't play.
Right.
So we can keep getting that sponsorship and you can still be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully there's some clarity of standards and that can be met. And then just, a bigger rule book, basically, that players adhere to certain standards. The facilities that we play at adhere to certain standards. If you, break a paddle, if you harm somebody in the crowd accidentally, if you don't try, then there has to be a written rule of you are fined X.
Yeah.
The repercussions are X. And then if that takes place and we finally get, we're learning as we go. But if we can get that in order, then things become a lot easier. It no longer is like subjective based on one person's opinion who has a good relationship with that person or otherwise. It's like, well, this is the rule.
But if safety is the main concern of this collective, then that'll get accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's no way that doesn't.
Sure.
No one's winning by players getting injured.
And the quality of play is worse.
Yeah. So I think they don't need a collective for that. They should all be on the same page and they'll figure that out sooner than later.